Hi, fourth graders. Today we are going to work on adding and subtracting mixed numbers now, and improper fractions, as we called them too last week. So we are going to get some practice with that. Let's go ahead, and this isn't in your workbook yet. I will let you know when we get into the workbook and what page we're on. So if we want to take 4/5 and add 3/5 to it, one way we could do it is we could draw it out and show it with a model, or you could use your eye tools, or you could use your fraction strips if you created those in class. Right? So we have 4/5 here and then 3 more fifths. We know that you can just add across the top, and you can do 4 plus 3 is 7, and your whole is still 5 out of 5. Okay, so the bottom number stays as fifths. Or you could just count all your shaded pieces and see that you have 7 shaded, and it still makes 5 to make the whole. Okay, we do the same with subtraction. If we have 8/5, and we notice now that if you have 8/5, that's okay. Last week, some of us said, well, we can't write a fraction like this. The number is too big on top. It always has to be smaller. That's not true, right? The number on top is called an improper fraction when the number on top is larger than the number on the bottom. All that means is the fraction is bigger than one whole. And you can see an example here. So if we're going to draw this and do a problem like this, we're going to start with 8/5, or one whole and 3 more fifths. And if we're going to subtract 4 of those, I've covered up 4 of those fifths. And now I started with 8. And sometimes last week, we also just put X's through them, and we just said, I'm going to subtract 4 of my fifths. And now this is what I'm left with. I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4 fifths. So that doesn't change at all from what we were doing last week, right? You still are going to subtract on the top, and then this number, the bottom, stays this exact same. Okay, it's always fifths. Well, since we started with fifths, whatever your whole is to start with, that's what it stays as. So 8 minus 4 is 4, and it is 4/5, or you could count the tiles that you have left, or the shaded pieces that you have left. Okay, so you're going to get some practice with that today. Once again, you see some examples here. 2/3 plus 2/3, add across the top, bottom stays as thirds, and you have 4/3. And when you subtract, just be aware of the operation. If you start with 8/7 and you subtract 4, 8 minus 4 is 3. So you have, or I'm sorry, 8 minus 4 is 4. So you have 4/7. The bottom number, that denominator, stays the same. Okay? All right. So this is exactly what we were just doing, the examples that we just did. So you add or subtract across the top, and then the bottom is going to stay the same. You could go through before you even add or subtract, and you could write, this is going to be something over 5, something over 9, something over 7. The denominator stays the same. Now, the new part today is when we get into mixed numbers. They're going to have the same denominators stay today, and for our work today, that is okay for addition to still include improper fractions with it. Okay, and so watch how we do that. But I want you to start thinking about what some of the improper fractions mean. So we'll try to simplify them, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, so we're going to start with our fractions and add them up. So 3/5 plus 1/5. And remember, you could write that on the side. If you don't like them vertical like this, 3/5 plus 1/5, because we're going to do it in parts. And I just add across the top, and I would say 4/5. Okay, so I know my fractions alone, 3/5 plus 1/5 is 4/5. Then I need to add my whole numbers. 2 plus 1 is 3. So my answer is 3 4/5. Watch what happens here. Let's add 2/5 plus 4/5. Well, 2 plus 4 is 6. My whole is still 5. So I have 6/5. Well, that's greater than 1. Okay? And so 3 plus 1 is 4. Well, yesterday we worked on trying to figure out what 6/5 really meant. Well, 6/5 we said was the same as 1 whole plus, well, 1/5. And we know that because 1 whole, all this is the same really as 5/5, because that's what 1 whole is, plus 1/5. So we can actually take our 1 whole out and say, well, this is equal to, we really have 4 whole and then 1 more whole and then 1/5 left. So we could say 4 plus 1 is 5 and 1/5. This is what we call simplified. We don't want to include mixed numbers and improper numbers, but it doesn't necessarily make it wrong. Okay, so try to simplify it for 9 and 10. See if you can do those. You won't need to, actually you will need to simplify both of them if you can. All right, now when we subtract, I want to skip down to the bottom for subtraction because it actually shows you what we're doing. Right? Sometimes we don't have to trade and borrow when we subtract, but sometimes we do, just like when we're dealing with whole numbers. Okay? So let's start in the fraction again, and I can write it on the side. So 5 and 6/8 minus 3 and 3/8. So I have 6/8, and I'm going to take away 3/8. Well, it's easy enough. 6 minus 3 is 3. My whole is still eighths. So 6/8 minus 3/8, you're left with 3/8. And then I do my whole number just like I did with addition. 5 minus 3 is 2. So my answer is 2 and 3/8. Well, that was easy, right? Watch this. All right. I can't do 2 minus 5, right? Or 2/8 minus 5/8. So I need to borrow 1 whole, okay? So I'm going to rewrite this fraction. I need to take one of my 6's away, right? And when I take 1 away, remember, 1 whole in this case is the same as 8/8, right? That would fill up my eighths fraction bar. So 8/8 is the same as 1 whole. So keeping this idea here, this is the same as now 5 because I'm going to subtract 1. So this is 5. And I add my 1 to it, 5 and 8/8, but I still had my 2/8 here. 5 and 10/8 is my new fraction, okay? I borrowed 1 from the 6 to make it 5, and I gave 8/8 to my 2/8 to make it 10/8. And then now I can subtract 4 and 5/8 because I know that is just going to be 10 minus 5, 5/8, and 5 minus 4 is 1. Another way you could do this is you could go into your iTools and you could build these fraction strips. You could start with 5 whole and have 6 more eighths, and then start crossing off 3 whole and 3 more eighths and see what you're left with. You can always use your pictures and your visuals to help you with this. I want you to try 13 and 14. What they wanted you to do down here is explain the solution and explain what they're doing in the red, and that's what I just did. But what I want you to do is use these. This is a good example of what they are, of how they are trading and borrowing from the whole number to give to the fraction value, right? And so they did the same thing. If you look at number 15, they borrowed from the 6 to make it a 5. Well, we're in sevenths. That makes the whole. So they have to add 7 to 2 because really what they're doing is adding 7 sevenths to 2 sevenths. So their new fraction is 5 and 9 sevenths. So use 15, 16, and 17 to kind of see how to trade and borrow to try and solve 13 and 14. And then on the next page, I'm sorry, this was page 303. Shoot, this was page 303. Sorry about that. All right. Now, for lesson 5, the last page we're going to do is, this is 304 now. There's a Puzzle Penguin problem, and see where he made his mistake here. See if you can figure that out. 7 and 3/8 minus 1 and 5/8 is 6 and 2/8. That's wrong, but why? All right, and now for the bottom half of this, use the examples on the last page, and you can even rewind this video and watch how I did it as well. But you're going to do 2 things with each of these. You need to figure out which of these mixed numbers is largest by using the greater or less than tool. And then I want you to subtract the lesser number from the mixed number, lesser mixed number from the greater mixed number. So watch what that means. So really all these except this one right here. This will be the only tricky one that you'll have to try and figure out. But all these, you can compare them simply by looking at the whole number. Think of it in terms of dollars and cents. As we transition into decimals soon, we're going to think a lot about dollars and cents, but fractions are really part of a whole, right? It's like the change that you get back when you have less than $1 after you bought something, right? And so if you have three whole dollars and some change compared to one whole dollar and some change, no matter what you have for change, if it's less than $1, that $3 is going to be more. So you know 3 2/5 is greater than 1 4/5. It doesn't matter that 4/5 is bigger than 2/5 because 3 whole is bigger than 1 whole. Okay. And then what you would do is you would now solve this. You can do this on scratch paper. You're probably not going to have enough. So on the side, I would say 3 2/5 minus 1 4/5. And notice you're going to have to trade and borrow, just like we did on the previous page. So you can't do 2 minus 4, so you're going to have to borrow from the 3 and add 5/5 to your 2/5. Okay? All right, so this was page 304. Try and do the next, actually, you got to do the subtraction for this one. Be careful with 21, and then do the subtraction for the remaining problems as well. And if you need to use iTools, use it, right? There is a very helpful fraction bar practice in there. And then you might have some things central. If you have any questions, let us know.